What up, people? Welcome to the Doing Everything Different podcast. I'm your host, Devin Lars. And today's episode is going to be a little different. It's more so aligned with some tools and resources that I've been working with. Unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure you've been hearing all the news about AI and how it's going to have its effect on literally the world. I mean, AI is going to change how we operate fundamentally as a society. And I've been playing around with these tools, ChatGPT specifically, for the last several months. And at first I didn't understand how powerful it was when it first came out. Everybody was talking about, oh, this thing is incredible. And it took a while to kind of get the use case of it and the application of how it works and how much of an impact it's going to have and change how we work and the things that we do. And what I'm learning about ChatGPT and just AI in general is it's going to change the way that we think and how we produce work. Meaning it goes from thinking about the output and the answer to thinking about the question and how do we frame what we want it to do. And the more I've been playing around with it, the more I'm understanding is like the new skill set is going to be how well do you articulate what you want and ask questions, because the input that you put in it is going to be determined on the output that you get out, right? And so the better that your input is and that you ask it questions, the better the output is going to be. And so most people use it on the use case of, writing a sentence or, writing content and stuff like that. But it goes way deeper when it comes to strategy and when it comes to building out even plans, specifically for entrepreneurs. But I mean, I'm sure you can use it in any field, in any work that you're doing. And so I wanted to talk about kind of how I'm using it and how I think you all can use it as well to benefit from it. The first thing and how I've kind of operated and started to think about using it is from a strategic standpoint. So not just content creation. Content creation is important from a standpoint of just, writing content or proofreading stuff or making it sound better. Or, you can take a large, like a paragraph and say, summarize this up into 25 words or more for, copy that will go specifically on your landing page or something like that if you need it to be a certain length. And while that stuff is super, super helpful and saves so much time to be able to do that, I think there's so many deeper levels of how to utilize this technology with strategy by asking it specific questions, right? So for instance, asking it to, okay, so say you have a business or a plan or something that you want to roll out, explain what you're doing to ChatGPT. You can write it out and say, oh, I'm doing this, I do X, Y, and Z. And then you can say, I want to be able to build out product offerings that support this audience. Ask me some questions so you better understand what I'm trying to do. When you do that, it'll ask you a bunch of questions about your business, like who is your target demographic? It will get these very specific questions that you can go and answer, and you answer it to the best of your ability. And so what you're doing is you're training the model on your specific needs and what it is. So then what you can do is once you're in the thread of ChatGPT, now it has reference and it has all of the context of what you're trying to build. So now as it starts to build up strategies, you can have it understands what you're trying to do. And so I think from there, it's like once you answer those questions, then you can start asking it like, okay, what are some other products or services that I can offer? Okay, help me think about how to explain the products or services. Does this create a different demographic? How do I sell to these people? What do I need to put together in order to do this? Okay, you need a breakdown of what your services is. Okay, can you help me break down the services of it? So you can go through this long list of stuff of how you can create this content around it and having this, large language model help you build out strategies and processes and content to go around with it. And so I think it's just been so powerful. I mean, it's kind of, how I'm correlating it is kind of like, this is the next generation of Google. Just like how we like now just take Google for granted. Like you just go to Google and you search something and you get the answer. Before Google, You couldn't do that. You would have to go to the library and go look all this stuff up manually before you got all this information. So then when Google came around, you started to think, damn, how was I doing this before Google? I was going through this old model of stuff. This AI stuff is like that, but times 10. I'm looking back now at all the production and stuff that we're producing now and the stuff that I'm able to do. And I'm just like, how do we do this before? It just took so much time. It took so much energy, and it just created it's just creating a different type of process. And I think what's interesting about it mainly is it's creating a different skill set that I'm having to get better at. It, again, is asking the questions of what I want. And so I think the future of jobs, I think the future of how we're going to do work is how well we can articulate and ask questions versus how well can we do the thing. And so, yeah, I think just from a standpoint of using this technology, if you haven't used it already, you should really look into it because it is changing and developing so quickly. They just announced, OpenAI just announced today, where you're going to be able to make your own GPTs. So meaning you can make your own chatbots, and you don't even need to know how to code. You can do it from language. So you tell it what you want it to do. You can basically program and code it based on just having a conversation with ChatGPT, and it'll build it out for you. So technology is getting crazy. I don't know how to feel about all of it. I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm seeing so many more fake content. I'm just seeing so much. I don't know what it's going to do from a societal standpoint. Like that is questionable. And it's actually kind of scary of the stuff that it can do. I saw a video that basically said that within the next year or so, we're going to be able to like communicate with animals. So basically, animal sounds, I think it's starting with whales or dolphins or something, is going to make us like go through an AI processor, and it's going to translate the language to us. So we'll understand what they're saying, and then we can say stuff back and it'll translate it to them. It really literally sounds like something out of a Black Mirror episode, and it sounds crazy, but this stuff is happening now, and it's happening very, very quickly. And so the next, you know, 3 to 4 years is going to be very, very fascinating. I think we're going to go through some major shifts as a society. And there's no way to stop technology. You can't stop or slow it down, right? Like this is going to be here and it's not going away. So the best thing that you could do is really play around with these tools and get to know it, because it is going to completely disrupt everything. And I think it's going to be the people that understand and know how to use this technology are going to be at an advantage, because there's no way that you can compete with this technology of just output and creation and production. And so you're going to really need to know how to have these tools to be able to supercharge and maximize your output, and be able to build out these skills. Because even with me, I'm not a good writer, right? Like that's a very, very weak point. But now with ChatGPT, it can help me and give me the tools and process so I could get things done faster. So before, I used to have to go internally to my team. So I would go to Britt and I would say, hey, I want to create this document, or I want to create this content, and I'll explain it to her. And then she would have to write it and kind of like create it. And we would go back and forth and critique it and stuff like that. And the process took a while, and it took a long time. Even if it was something quick, I would need to go through her to say, hey, can you help me with this? But now what I can do is I could just go straight to ChatGPT and work through it. And now I have that content right away. You know, I could get everything done that I need to do in a week, and then it knows how to articulate it, because now it could create and structure a sentence. I could say, hey, can you say it a little bit more friendly or a little bit more professional, or use this voice and tone? Or when you're able to communicate with it and you get a structure and a voice and a flow of how you want it, then you can say, okay, how is this voice and tone written? Or you can take copy from somewhere else that you like the voice and tone, paste it into the ChatGPT and say, what is the voice and tone of this? And then it will explain and describe in detail how it's written. And then you can take that and then say, okay, I want my content written with this, voice and tone and stuff like that. So the technology is crazy, and I'm using it more and more each day. and I'm just learning the power into it. And I think that, again, it's more than just content. It's about strategy. It's about um, making production go by faster. It's about inspiration. It's about ideas. You can pull data points from it. It's now trained up until April 2023, because previously it was trained until September of 2021. And they said that they're working on that specifically with ChatGPT. And now it's connected to the internet. They have different integrations where you can upload documents and create your own models and create your own content from it. There's Dolly 3 now that's integrated directly into ChatGPT that creates images. So it's all happening so fast, but it is extremely powerful. So for those of you that haven't done it, and the reason why I wanted to record this, because I think that this can be helpful for anybody that's listening. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur or you have a full-time job, you're a freelancer, side hustle. Like, this technology is going to affect everybody. It's going to be similar of, like I said, of how Google is. And so I wanted to record this episode to give a little context around how to use it and how to set it up. So hopefully you found this this insightful. We finally launched our business accelerator that we're super excited about, and we're doing workshops. We're going to go more in depth into AI. We're going to go more in depth into marketing, advertising, paid media, different things of that nature. So if you're interested in joining our business accelerator, you can learn more at www.de-d.co. And we are going to be doing, again, like workshops and going more a deeper dive into this and kind of showcasing, doing full workshops and showcasing like models and real-time demos of how we're doing it and doing live Q&A. So again, play with ChatGPT. It will completely change your life in ways that you can't even predict right now if you're not using it. I mean, it's pretty powerful. So I appreciate all the likes, the subscribes, the comments. I'm enjoying the podcast and interviewing guests and building all this stuff out. It's been a cool process to kind of see it grow week by week and create the different content. So hope you guys are doing well, and I will talk to you guys in a minute. Peace.